So,
So, it's a game that you've chosen, being
Yeah.
Hollow Knight.
it's the game I chose for my art wall. It is called Hollow Knight.
What is it? Is it an indie game?
Yeah, it's an indie Metroidvania. Made by the team called Team Cherry, which appears to be about 2 to 3 people. On the official website it says 3 people. There's Ari Gibson, who is the person we're talking about today, who's the artist, and then there is like the designer and programmer. It's a small team. It's a game made by a small team over quite a long period of time.
Cool.
I'm going to talk about Ari Gibson, as I just said, who is the artist of the game, who made the art, which is probably one of the most standout things about this game. It's got a very distinct art style. The art is actually hand-drawn, then scanned into the game.
With this style, like, being as standout as it is, you think, like, I don't know, like, other games should try and emulate this sort of style?
I think it really depends. It works well with the feel and vibe of the game, so I don't know if it will work well with other games. I do think the way it is done is unique, but I don't think it is as easily replicatable.
Yeah.
It's not something as definitive as like low poly or pixel art or something like that. It's not something like that can be easily replicated as a thing that can fit anywhere. But I do think the style, like the hand-drawn style, I do think if somebody has the resources to try doing it for making a game, it's something that should at least be experimented with a bit more. It works very well with Hollow Knight. It can probably work well with a couple other games. I think also there's a bunch of games that include hand-drawn parts.
Yeah.
If you look through different games, there's probably some that have bits that are hand-drawn, but not the entire thing.
Like, what do you think of like the background of the game as well?
The backgrounds and stuff like that. So the backdrops, because the backdrops are really good. The background itself, like all the story and stuff like that, is also really good. A bit too much to explain now because there's entire YouTube channels dedicated solely to explaining the lore. But yeah, the game itself, it's got this really cool feeling of like loneliness behind it. Fits really well with the feel. There are not that many NPCs. A lot of it is very dark, somber.
Yeah. Yeah, it has like that loneliness to it.
Yeah. Fits really well with the music. A lot of times it's somber and slow.
Do you know who did the music?
I can't remember, no. I'm not really focusing on the music here.
Yeah.
My main focus is the art. That was done by Ari Gibson. He went to school in his secondary school was Brighton, Melbourne, Brighton Secondary School in Melbourne, Australia. And he did a BA in photography and media from the University of Melbourne, South Australia. The University of South Australia. He also went to the university at the Academy of Art in Melbourne, Australia as well. So Ari Gibson did a lot of art stuff when it comes to his education. Makes sense because it appears his main thing is art. Team Shadow is founded with him and one of his friends to make Hollow Knight and other indie games.
Yeah.
So Hollow Knight was made by a very small team on a Kickstarter budget. I've heard there's actually a sequel to this game coming out, Hollow Knight Silk Song. We don't know when it is going to come out. Most likely it's going to take a bit longer than Hollow Knight because they don't have much of a time constraint. Team Cherry has a lot of money, so they can spend a lot more on to be able to work on this game for as long as they need. Yeah, Hollow Knight, even though there's all the constraints involved in its making, it is still a standout game in the Metroidvania genre. It is like a hallmark game of the genre.
would you say like, thanks to the style of the game, you could look on it, this game, you can look at it 10 years from now and it will still look just as good?
Yeah, the art style is timeless. The art style is very, very good, very timeless. I don't think it's not like 3D games like that are trying to be as realistic as possible, where over time you might see the art style look worse and worse compared to coming out titles. This game, when it comes to the art, you probably look at it. You can probably put it on a PS5. You could put it on like a low-end PC. It would probably still look just as good. Probably run just as well as well.
Yeah.
This game, it doesn't rely on like fancy graphics and like realistic graphics to look good. This game you could probably play it in like 100 years, and 100 is actually a long time. It's still guaranteed that computers will still exist even then. I don't know, probably will. You could play this game like in 60 years and it will probably still hold up pretty well. Because the art style is not based on any kind of limitations. It's an intentional thing.
Yeah.
It's not like with a lot of older games where they did pixel art because they had to. They couldn't do anything better than that. Even then, a lot of older games that use pixel art still hold up really well. Hollow Knight, the art style was chosen not really by limitations, but as an art style. It fit well with what the people could do. It fit well with all that.
This style, what we're seeing right now, is this the type of style that you would like? This is the style that you're inspired by.
Yeah, I do have to say this style is a big inspiration. I remember it inspired me quite a lot. It is very good. I think it is very good. Just the way it feels, the way it works in with like a lot of hard to describe feelings. The feelings of loneliness, the coldness. Like a lot of the colours in a lot of the areas are mostly blues and blacks, and greys. Like here, one interesting thing is you actually don't see that many monotone colours. If anything, the monotone colours are pop a lot because a lot of the colours in the environment are various colours of blues and dark blue tones that look like greys. So it has this cold feel to it. So it kind of draws your eyes to anything that is not kind of like tinted blue. Especially in this first area. I think the way they use colours works really well. How each area looks different just based on colour schemes. Everything looks really good, this game, Hollow Knight is a good game. The art style is also really good. Ari Gibson, I would have to say the fact that this looks hand-drawn, I'm not particularly good at hand-drawn, but honestly I have to say this is a pretty big inspiration when it comes to a lot of this thing. I think, when it comes to my art, I would say it's definitely been an inspiration. Especially with a lot of my earlier art and stuff I did as doodles, this has been a really big inspiration. The way I don't want to repeat myself a lot, but the way the colours work, they are muted, they are a lot of things blue tinted. It is all just has this calming effect to it. It is like everything feels. Like, it's not to do with the frame rate, but everything feels slowed down to a crawl. Which honestly fits well with a lot of the game's feelings. It is like Hallownest is a dying kingdom, or a dead kingdom. Well, actually, I think saying it is dead by this point is pretty safe. It is a dead, abandoned kingdom.
Yeah.
It is nothing really actively changes anymore. like nothing is actively changing.
Later on in like the game, there's like more different colours are shown because to do with progression. Because you got this blue at the moment, but it's changing to like
later in the game, the blue, like the mainly blue theme, changes to a bright, vibrant orange in this area, as the area changes from foregone crossroads to the infected crossroads due to plot reasons. Ultimately, I think that's pretty interesting. In contrast, even though orange you don't normally think of it as a scary colour, orange you normally see as vibrant, as generally pretty friendly. The way it contrasts so much, it doesn't feel natural. And also, despite blue often feeling pretty unnatural as a colour, we are rare to see that many blues in nature and stuff like that. Even though it's having the orange contrasting against what was normally the blue makes it feel wrong. It feels almost different. As well as also different areas. There's green path, which is green covered in foliage. The way it can kind of connect different areas with different feelings using just colours, I think it's pretty impressive. The way there's all these subtle pieces of movement, there's a bunch of like small little bits of light on the screen. There's like grass that moves as you work through it.
Is there anything else that you know about the artist that we need to know?
He previously ran the animation studio People's Republic of Animation. It was one of his older career things. He also founded the animation studio Mechanical Apple. So Ari Gibson has done a lot when it comes to animation.
Mr. Gibson's done quite a bit.
He is a pretty experienced animator.
What's some of your favourite aspects of this game?
I have to say, I think I don't quite know how to say specifically is my favourite aspect, but I have to say, gameplay itself is really good. It's a game. The gameplay has to be good. Just the thing. One thing that I just did in the game while I'm playing it right now is its skin. I think quite interesting because of how the game works. There's ways you can break the intended progression in new and unique ways. These are kind of planned around. For example, speedrunning, if you can get to areas that you shouldn't be able to normally. By using strategic enemy placement, bouncing off enemies. I just did that. There's a grub, which are basically these little guys in these glass bottles you have to free. Because, the grubs are, you have to free them, you get a reward for freeing them. It's just generally a little collectible item, basically. There was one that you're supposed to get a special dash upgrade to be able to get to first. Yes. And I lured an enemy, a flying enemy, into the right position to be able to bounce off it, because as you can, while you're in the midair, you can hit downwards with your sword, and that will propel you upwards. You use an enemy to pogo off to then hit the grub. That I've never actually done that before. I don't know why I did it. Well, I can get a reward, which is always good. I go over to this area. There's now a grub in the grub home, which is little cut out areas, and I can now get a reward, which is some money. Not much money, but still, worth my time.
Money regardless.
You can like in these kind of games, what's going to happen if you have too much money? Nothing's really gonna. The only thing that could happen is you lose all your money, which is not good. But I'm not in a position where I'm going to lose my money because I haven't actually died yet in the game.
Which is good. It's good to die yet.
Yeah, I haven't actually died yet in the game. Well, in this save, I've died multiple times before in different games.
Yeah.
Dying is something that happens surprisingly a lot in video games. Unless you are really good at them, which you often became really good at them by dying a lot of times. Unlike any pretty hard gameplay stage, but the other stage is easy enough if you want to play the game before. You've got some simple enemies, little flying enemies that fly around zigzags, and flying enemies that fly towards you, walking enemies that walk around, some that walk upside down, some don't walk upside down, some run towards you, some jump towards you, some charge towards you. Generally, you want to smash with a couple of hits. You're currently in the game, there's nothing really challenging in facing right now. Back to what I'm actually supposed to be talking about. Ari Gibson, he written and produced a number of films, like Lost Girl, Sometimes the Stars, Between Sarah and the Courier, The Amazing Adventures of Gavin, the Leaf Sea Dragon, and the Cat Piano. A couple of little animations he made and produced and written, stuff like that. You can most likely find them on the internet, like recordings and stuff like that. He worked with a singer, I think it's Coyote, making the video for the song Bonnet of his album Making Mirrors. And he worked at the Blue Tongue Entertainment Studio in Melbourne on the games The Blob and The Blob 2.
They were games on the Nintendo Wii, if I remember.
Yeah. Published by THQ Australia.
So, Aaron, he has quite the history of animation. What he's been working on. And it just shows like where it can get you.
Yeah, animation is like animation and art. As long as there's video games, there's gonna be something you need to draw the interface assets. Because without any kind of visual interface, a game won't go anywhere. And oftentimes having good art makes people draw towards a game. Yeah, there are games that can be brilliant mechanically and just don't really focus on art. Those games are perfectly fine. And although, especially nowadays, if you want to reach a larger audience, having good art is oftentimes very helpful. It allows you to, draw on a pretty large audience. And again, I'm not saying it's required. Some of my other favourite games are like specifically themed around having more simple art. But Hollow Knight, I think one of the reasons it did reach such a large audience is because not only is it an amazing game gameplay wise, not only is it amazing soundtrack wise, and not only is it amazing story wise, but the art is just visually stunning. Like you get into the game and immediately it just immediately get in the game and you have this beautiful hand-drawn art.
It definitely does draw people into its world.
Yeah, like good art in a video game can be very useful for drawing people in. It can help people understand what's going on. For the ways how to use the contrast, for example, the enemies. Normally things that are moving in the game have thicker line art and generally a bit more contrast, a bit less muted colours, which helps you draw it. For example, fighting an enemy, increasing the enemy is a bit less muted, so I know immediately that this is an enemy. Which honestly just helps count. It works well with gameplay because it can draw your eyes to the things you need to worry about, which are things that can potentially hurt or kill you, or things you can pick up, or just generally other characters. Art is very important for gameplay, because if the two work together really well, it can help it can help guide players. Like there are many examples of games using art tricks to help draw players' eyes, attention to important things. For example, like I know that this is close to Hollow Knight, but just give another example from a different game. The game Team Fortress 2 uses subtle gradients on the characters to draw the attention of the players to the hands and other parts of the character, so the players can see what the other players are holding when it comes to weapons. This means that art can be used to draw players' eyes to what matters most, and even if the backgrounds are beautiful, what we really need for gameplay is to care about the characters and the enemies in the foreground. And Hollow Knight art could do that brilliantly. Other games do that brilliantly. But honestly, I think Hollow Knight, the way they do it, it's subtle. Oh, it is subtle, but it works really well. The enemies pop. I mean, they pop in multiple ways. Like if you kill them, they kind of splatter everywhere. But like, the enemies pop, even without hitting them. Even without hitting them, the enemies still pop. So honestly, it is just pretty good.
It's a really good game.
Yeah. I think ultimately the reason why Hollow Knight and Ari Gibson inspires me so much is simply because I just like how it feels. I like the art style, and I think the way it is so calming, and it is basically eye candy. The way all the colours work together, how subtle it all is. In my opinion, it is just a masterpiece. Like it is officially considered art.
You put it on your wall and it'll be art.
Yeah, like if I. Yeah, it is. It is on display at the Australian Centre for the Moving Image in Melbourne. It is literally officially considered art. So yeah, again, I think I said this before, but the art is hand drawn. So you can see this. The art is all hand drawn. All of this is hand drawn, and then scanned to the game, which must have required so much time. I mean, even to do pixel art on a computer, animating it can take so long. And the fact that Ari Gibson managed to do this all on, like, paper is so impressive. And it honestly kind of amazes me. It is just such an impressive. It's just such an impressive feat of animation. As well as there's also the. Yeah, there's also other things. For example, the moody backgrounds, the blank eyes. Like all the characters have these black eyes, which, while they may be threatening to some, they are pure, completely black. They can be kind of cute sometimes. Like just look at the main character. The main character, big old kind of white carapace head, little cloak, a little body which you can't really see under the cloak, a little sword. These two big black eyes. There's a bunch of other characters that. It's basically a thing with almost all characters. The enemies have dark black eyes. Like all the characters seem to have them as well. There's only a couple of examples of characters not having this, and this is oftentimes when something's going on with the character. Like if the character's got some kind of infection going on with a big old flying moth thing. I don't know how to quite exactly describe it. In the game, there's a big moth that is turns people into zombies. Yeah, you see these enemies right here, the husks. The husks are some of the only ones without pure black eyes. They have a single orange pupil that disappears when they die. This can be used to signal plot reasons of what's going on. Why are they different? It can be used to kind of justify and show that, hey, these are not just your average bug. There's something going on here. Why are they attacking you? Well, they have different. Their eyes are different than all the other characters, even other bugs that seem civilized. Eyes.
Imagine like the amount of bugs what Aaron and the team had to research just to get the designs down. Because all these are like unique bugs, aren't they?
They're actually based off real bugs. Yeah. It's fine, like the first boss I got here. boss. It's been so long since before that. Okay, then I can heal, attack, do some damage here. Yeah, find the first boss. The first boss is called False Knight. He's this little maggot, this massive suit of armor. Nobody knows how the little dude is actually controlling the armor, because they think the dude is is tiny. And the armor is massive. Bug magic, who cares? Maybe the armor is like a big mech suit, made using magic or something like that. So you just have to get him onto the ground. Then he will go and hit the ground, and things will fall from the sky. Move in. Okay, I should have jumped this at a different time. Yeah. Like a lot of games, the bosses are very much kind of based around patterns. You have to try and learn the enemy pattern, so you can dodge it. It's the name of this boss fight, but the boss fight at the beginning is the other game. I've been in a couple times before. Then win. You just can't kill him. He begins to explode in orange goop, and then he falls out, and he's dead. You can get an item that you can use later in the game. You can bounce on the big suit of armor.
For some reason, but you can do it.
Yeah, you can just do it. You can just do it, it's fun. You can steal off his money, which if you really think about it, are you really the good guy? You just killed someone and stole his money.
And his item.
Yeah. Here's one item. He doesn't have anything else. No, where did the mace bug go? Oh, sure. But yeah. As is a Metroidvania, I defeat this boss. So now I can move on to this new area where I can get a new item that I need to progress to the next area. It's a Metroidvania. What I do is I go through here. The game, you don't have the many options for exploring towards the beginning of the game. Once you get the dash item, you got no more opportunities to explore. The dash item is also very useful in combat. See, I just go into here and get my first item, which is a spell. It's a spell, it's a small little range attack. Okay, speak to this dude. Darkness, yeah.
The snail shaman.
Yeah, snail shaman. So the snail shamans can do magic. It's like if I get this, the magic spell he gave me, you absorb the white orbs of light and they flop into the ground. Because I don't know. I consume the vengeful spirit. Tap B to unleash the spirit. And now I'm in this cage. So I now have to go off and escape. To do that, I have to kill the enemy that's killing him with problems. Use the vengeful spell. Interesting thing about the spells in the game is they use something called soul. Soul is like mana, the only way to recharge it by attacking physically. So the way to recharge it is to attack people in melee. You hit them with your sword. And you can use it to heal as well. So if you take damage, you can use soul to heal. So soul is just generally important. Of course, though, healing requires standing still. So if you want to heal, you have to stand still.
As you can see, like the background is much different in here because
yeah, and here it's like a mine almost with like all the planks of bug wood gathered by bugs, and I'm sure don't be the healing so now. So yeah, I can heal. And go to here. Then I heal up again. So yeah. Another system in the game called charms. Charms are basically little things you can equip that can give you extra abilities. And I don't know why I need to heal. I'll actually save that enough. So yeah, charms are very useful. They can do everything from giving you from revamping your abilities to just giving you better, improving your abilities. Some can make your attacks have longer reach. Some can make you attack faster. Some can make you attack harder. Some can make you do more damage when you are about to die. Some can make you get more soul per attack. And why can't I fight these simple roly-polies? Why can't I attack the pillboys? Free heal, take my exploration.
Anything else we need to know about this game? About the creators and stuff?
So yeah. About the his first ever game was rental was Faxandu for the NES. That was his first ever game rental.
I wonder what that game was like.
No idea. As well as also Nintendopedia describes Hollow Knight interview as Hollow Knight boasts some incredibly detailed hand-drawn sprites. Visually, it feels like the player is drawn to a graphic novel. The art is very detailed, and every illustrated character feels unique, which I have to agree with. The art is very painterly, and I think I like that about it. It pops in all the right ways, it fades in the background in all the right ways. You can kill these glowing blue things to get more health, because why not? It feels very good.
I suppose like if the game, like do you think if this game didn't have this art style, do you think it would have done as well as it did?
I definitely think that the art style plays a lot into it. I definitely think the way the art style was made, I definitely think the quality of the art plays a lot into why it's so popular. And like I definitely say probably without this amazingly detailed art style, it probably wouldn't have done so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can then sit down and bench to regain health and save. Save by sitting on benches. Benches, well, the benches don't know quite how to say about it, their bench. Sit on bench. I can change out my charms. An interesting thing that you added in, you got covered and locked, but this thing called overcharming. If you are overcharming is what you can do. I'm not going to do it, but what you can do is when you're overcharmed, you take double the damage, but you can have over your maximum charm slots. I'm not going to do that because I just. Oh shoot! I dropped my note.
I'm not going to do that because it makes the game way harder.
Yeah, it can be useful in some situations. If you're like really good at dodging, it means you can maximize entirely on damage. But like, normally it doesn't have much use. It isn't particularly a useful thing.
Yeah.
Another review somebody has about the game is KingLinkReviews.com. It says the art style of Hollow Knight is extremely crisp. The main character is a very unique character, wearing a horns on skull like kind of helmet or head, because it's a beetle, but you know. And draped in black. His exact species is left unknown, although he's the titular character. A Hollow Knight, though the character moves through the world is amazing. The character, identically, the player character is very unique looking. A lot of the things are left unanswered about the main character, right up until the end of the game. Only by the end of the game do you really know what your character is, what they're supposed to do, and why they are special and why they're like that. For example, your character is the vessel. They are, you know, how does the character plays along the plot. Like, you know, they are special. Over the game, you learn why they're special, you learn why they don't talk. You learn what they're doing, what they're doing. It's very interesting.
And it's only at the end you learn this, don't you?
Yeah, you learn this like really only at the end.
Which we shan't say.
Yeah, I'm gonna avoid going out for any spoilers. But yeah, by the end of the game, you learn like who your character is, why they do what they do. You learn all this. You learn this through character dialogue, through exposition, through trying not to get hit by buzzsaws at one part of the game. Because buzzsaws are cool, but not being hit by them is also cool. There's also a well. I keep falling down the well because I like well. I don't know. I don't like falling down the well. Well is well. Oh well.
No well.
Oh well.
Oh well, I fell down a well. Oh well.
Oh well. And one thing is how the map works. I'm just buying the quill, which allows me to update my map. There's also markers you can buy for the map. I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to update my map and I can find out where I can go. A bit better. Okay, this is how you So, I can enter into here. Get into here, use this to go somewhere else in the game. This little fast travel system which allows you to quickly get around the world. I'm going to go down to the Forgotten Crossroads, so you can go to a new area, go through that area, defeat another boss. It's ultimately very useful. Another review. Your gamer said you've simply been forgiven for confusing his Sun R-Star and for simplicity. They are hand painted in a dark muted palette. Your explosions are accompanied by a masterful score. The cartoon-like visuals are shockingly deceptive. Very, 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 very shocking. I never expected a game to look like this.
Any more reviews?
Do we now check? More reviews. Destruction.com said, Called Hollow Knight, a beautifully hand-drawn Metroidvania. Eager parts, fun, difficult, cute, and horrifying. Which I would definitely say this game can be horrifying. This game can be horrifying at times. Like there are times where it can be horrifying. I mean, look at anything in the area that's called Deep Nest. If you're scared of spiders, that's probably not the best place to go because that is where the spiders live. The spiders live in this one place. The spiders live there. They don't leave. They will kill you multiple times. That's a very dangerous to be in the game. Don't go there. Well, actually, you have to go there to beat the game. Yeah, if you want to beat the game, you have to go there.
Spiders are fun.
Yeah, the spiders are pretty fun. You can get a special charm that allows you to summon your own baby spiders that can protect you, and can even be used to make a very good spellcaster abilities that can get soul for you. I remember one time I tried to defeat a boss fight by going all in on just different minions. And trying to play a summoner build basically. It worked. It didn't work. I was hoping that I could focus entirely on minions and not have to dodge. Well, focus entirely on minions, not have to focus on attacking. Didn't work. Ultimately, I eventually defeat that boss. That boss is a pain. Like, the early game bosses, they can be difficult, but they can also be pretty fun. It is very much a boss fight game. There's even a special area dedicated entirely to boss fights, where you just fight bosses and that's it. Do nothing else in the area. You just fight bosses. Old bosses, new bosses, bosses that have been made stronger, weaker. It's a boss fight area. You fight bosses. Eventually, you can do more than just fight bosses. I don't quite know.
Would you say it's rewarding fighting bosses? Like actually beating them after such a hard shape?
Yeah.
So after like many tries of fighting a boss, which is rewarding.
It can be pretty rewarding after defeating a hard boss. You know, there's some bosses that can take a long time, but the first boss, like the one I just did now, is a pretty easy boss. It's a pretty good boss to get things warmed up with. And still really new to the game, dying is probably a bit unlikely because there's 1 damage, you've got 5 health, heal pretty easily. Generally, it's it's pretty alright. It's a pretty good starting boss. Gets you really good into the game. Then there's the second boss, which is also the first more fast-paced boss, with it being with the boss moving around quickly with quick attacks. Pretty difficult, you know. But they also have a second boss fight, sync out the second boss fight, which is even stronger. There's also various mini bosses. I remember one playthrough I had more trouble with a mini boss than the actual boss in the area. It was this mini boss who was moving all over the place. It was hard to hit. I hated it. I think I repeatedly stopped playing the game at that part to do something else because I was not having fun anymore trying to kill this one stupid enemy.
Is there any more we have?
Any more views?
More.
I don't think we've got any more views. I actually think, I think that is about all kind of reviews we've got on the cards. You see it. More about the game. The game I think is well worth whatever money it charges. It's got so much content. The game itself, I've never actually completed the game. That it is that big. I never actually beat the final boss in the game because I think I'm just not good at boss fights. I think I am just bad at fighting. Yeah. Shocking revelation, I am bad at video games. But yeah, but even once you defeat the boss, you defeat the final boss, now you gotta go find all the other endings. You defeated the final boss. Well, joke's on you, that wasn't the final boss, you defeat the other final boss, it's even harder. And joke's on you, you now have to do these other various boss fights to defeat the final boss, it's even harder. Then joke's on you, Timmy's modded the game and made the final boss even harder.
This game does provide a lot of content because there's a lot of like DLC in it.
Yeah.
Like quite a bit of DLC in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bosses. There's a DLC where you have to go around collecting fire for vampire bug dude. Then you fight the vampire bug dude and kill him and feed him to his child. It's very weird. Don't ask any questions. It's bug magic works like that, I guess.
Don't ask questions, just play it.
Yeah, just don't ask questions about what's going on in the game. Well, actually, probably do. It's got some very interesting lore and stuff. But the best thing to do is just play the game and die multiple times over and over again. That's what happens. The plot is convoluted. I'm not going to explain it. But not convoluted in a bad way. The plot is good. It's a good plot. A lot of mystery. A lot of thinking. It's got a man called Mr. Mushroom. There's a character who is literally a talking mushroom. He is a character you can meet. There are a lot of different characters. There's vendors, there's shopkeepers. I know you can't see the screen, but I just met another character. The character that leaves. If you're now trying to follow the character, but I can't get up there. So what do? Well, I simply just keep exploring. I fight this enemy. He explodes in poisonous orange clouds. That's just how he fights. And there's different enemies, different ones fight in different ways. Some have shields, so you can't attack them from that direction. Have to try and get out of the shield. Some have swords. Some don't have swords or shields, they just try and hit you. Some explode. Some fly around. Some have spears and also fly around. Some have claws. Some are like these little mosquitoes, who are kind of annoying. I'm really going to have to kill them, it's not too hard. There's sort of platforms and cut down vines. Honestly, Hollow Knight is a 10 out of 10 game. It is a historical game. It is a game, I don't think calling the game historic is safe. It is a good game. And I just have to wait for this one enemy to walk below this platform so I can cut it and squish them. Because it's probably the quickest way to go. No. Squish.
Squish the bug.
You know, squish the bug, despite also being a bug. So yeah, I would say Ari Gibson has inspired me quite a bit. And if you think just to do art with ideas and stuff like that, I remember one of the first games I really wanted to make was basically a Horror Night-like game. A Metroidvania, but in a very similar style. Dark, somber, cold, empty. Yeah, the same kind of feeling of ever-present loneliness, interspersed by the occasional character. That is the game I wanted to make. And now, while the game, some of the games I want to make currently have changed, I definitely think that was a very good starting point for me designing and coming up with games to make. It was basically my starting point.
Yeah.
With amateur game design, speculation, stuff like that. As well as with the art. The art is amazing. While the Hollow Knight's art truly works well with kind of the loneliness. Everything part of the game, the art, the music, the gameplay, all sings together perfectly. And I have to say, I think Ari Gibson, the way he alone managed to make this game's art. He alone made this art. And it's some of the best art I've seen. I have played AAA games, and while yes, other games can also be very pretty and beautiful, I think Hollow Knight, the fact is made by one person, the beautiful simplicity. It doesn't rely on fancy shaders, it doesn't rely on complicated models. Even though complicated models and fancy shaders can look good at times. I'm not saying that AAA games that rely on a lot of fancy graphics don't look good, they do look good, but Hollow Knight, the fact it was made by one person, using just art, no fancy, no real fancy tips, just pen, paper, colour, all that stuff, and managed to make this game, I think is so much more impressive than, it is so unbelievably impressive. All the things you see visually while playing Hollow Knight were made by one person. All of the art, one person. Not like two people or a small team, one singular person. I think that's what impresses me the most. Just one person. And I know that most likely I probably won't be able to get to the point where I may be able to do the art for an entire game. Especially not art this good. Well, actually, you never know, but still. This art inspires me so much. The way everything from bold and definitive characters pop out from the detailed and intricate and subtle backgrounds. It is a masterwork game. And that's why I give some stars to me. It is a masterwork game.
Do they think we have more to talk about?
Yeah, I think this is an amazing game, and I think I've said that. I don't really think there's much else I can say for this, except it's just good. It is a game that I think it's a game well worth any money it costs, well worth the time, well worth everything. It is a beautiful game. It's a game beautiful in all aspects, especially art.
Good stuff. I think that'll do, won't it? Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's all it.
That'll do. I'll just give this a bit of a stop recording, yeah?
Mm-hmm.